Hello everyone, it's John from Double Sleeved here, and we are on day 3 of the spoilers, and today is heavily dominated by Commander 2020, which is the Commander release element of Ikoria happening at the same time in Commander decks. And as you can see, we are starting off with some Commander based tomfoolery. Loads of different social media influencers, YouTubers, etc. have been releasing these cards. So we're just going to jump straight in and have a look at some of them. Some of them are crazy awesome creatures, which I guess could be alternative commanders like this one. And then there are some which are just core cards. There are a bunch of new cards. This is something like, I don't know, 16, something like that, per 17 per deck, which are new. And there are obviously 5 decks. Just to run through the ones we've already had spoil, whilst we see Tayam on there already. But we have got, I'll try and remember this, Jarina, who is like the human. We've got Gavi or Javi, which is kind of the cycling style. We have got Calamax, which is the dinosaur, which I love, the elemental dinosaur. We've got Otrimi, which is the nightmare kind of one, and we've got Cathril, the insect. So 5 of the commanders, and obviously these cards will fit in one of those decks. So let's just go straight into it. So we've got Tayam, the luminous enigma, which is a legendary creature, nightmare beast. Each other creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional vigilance counter on it. Remove 3 and remove 3 counters from among the creatures you control. Put the top 3 cards of your library into the graveyard. Then return a permanent card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So this is a 3/3 for 4, which is 1 white, black, green. I've seen some spiel about this card and what it could potentially be capable of. Some of these cards seem potentially really powerful if you get the right combos, and we yet to see what's in the full deck to know. But the fact this is 3 counters, the fact that this gives a counter when something enters the battlefield, the fact that counters are flying around the place like no one's business, definitely feel like a low CMC deck where things get counters as they come in and have counters and give counters, and that whole thing is going to make this card pretty awesome. So, like that card. Flawless Maneuver, which is 2 and a white, is an instant. If you control a commander, you may cast this spell without paying its mana cost. So there's a couple of these. You'll see one in each colour. So this is the white one. So free if you've got a commander. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn for free. I don't know how game breaking that could be. I don't know how massive that could be. A free card is a free card. And it's a commander, not your commander. So interesting. Definitely a potentially powerful card. We've got Mind Leecher, which is a 5/5 for 4 black nightmare creature. Mutate for 4 and a black, flying. Whenever this creature mutates, exile the top card of each opponent's library face down. You may look at and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. So that's the top card, but it doesn't say use any mana, so it has to be something you can afford with your mana that you've got. So 1 for a 5 mana deck, or if you know your opponents are playing certain colours, you can definitely afford. So cool card whenever you mutate. Yeah, like it. Molten Echoes, which is an enchantment for 2 red. As Molten Echoes enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever a non-token creature of the chosen type enters the battlefield under your control, create a token that's a copy of that creature. That token gains haste. Exile at the beginning of the next. So you double up for a turn. But it's whenever, so not necessarily in your turn. Pretty cool in terms of being able to do things with them, especially as it's enter the battlefield as a copy. So it could, and it has haste, so it could tap for whatever it may be, extra mana or whatever other funky effects it could have. So potentially powerful, especially in red. Yeah, pretty good. Shiny Impetus. which is an enchantment aura for 2 and a red. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and is goaded, which means they have to attack, but another player if they can. Whenever enchanted creature attacks, you get a treasure token. So that's potential mana ramp for red. Like it. Like creature tokens. We saw that with the Dockside Extortionist, I think is the card's name, where you're gaining creature treasure tokens. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's good. Especially if you put that on maybe your opponent's commander or something that doesn't want to attack and you know they're not going to want to get rid of. So, Curious Herd for 3 and a green is an instant. Choose target opponent. You create X 3/3 green beast creature tokens where X is the number of artifacts that player controls. Great anti-artifact. If somebody's got a bunch of artifacts, you're getting a bunch of 3/3s. 3/3s aren't amazing in Commander, but they are pretty good if they've got like 10 artifacts out and you get 10 3/3s. Like it. At instant speed as well. Sanctuary Blade, an artifact equipment for 2. When it gets attached to a creature, choose a colour. Equipped creature gets +2/0 and has protection from the last colour chosen. So protection from whatever colour you want for 2, and then obviously you equip it for 3. So 5 mana, bang, it's +2 and it's got protection from whatever colour you want. If you know what colours are being played, especially a mono colour deck you're playing against, that could be pretty cool. Nesting Grounds, a land, tap for colourless. 1 and tap, move a counter from a target permanent you control onto another target permanent. Activate this ability only at a time you can cast a sorcery. So good for moving around these menace counters, or the reach, or the trample, or the haste, or whatever it may be, that counters that are out there. First strike, double strike, death touch, loads of different things. Only at sorcery speed, but even so, pretty good if you need to get some counters onto someone. Alicia, Who Smiles at Death. A 3/2 legendary creature, human warrior, 2 and a red. I like the monocolour legendary creatures. First strike, whenever Alicia, Who Smiles at Death attacks, you may pay a white or black, a white or black. If you do, return target creature card with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, tapped and attacking. So that is good for any enter the battlefield effects for any creatures of CMC 2 or power 2 or lower. And yeah, tapped and attacking. I think there's some definite use there, especially if you're using tricolour. So you obviously wouldn't use that ability if it was your commander. But I like the flexibility that these, if you spend other mana to do it. Interesting. Shared Animosity, 2 and a red. Enchantment. Whenever a creature you control attacks, it gets +1/0 until end of turn for each other attacking creature that shares a creature type with it. So you get a load of, like, you got your creatures all in the same type. I like it. My Elementals, maybe something like that. For red, cool. Big Goblin, maybe your token decks. Any tribal deck at all is going to really benefit from that, which I think is pretty sweet. I believe this is a reprint, Ajani Unyielding, so I'm just going to brush straight through it. Cool card nonetheless. Rashmi, Eternity's Crafter. Some of these cards were released yesterday. My video came out before they came out, so I think this one might be one of them. But a legendary creature, Elf Druid. We are in no short supply of Elf Druids across Magic's history. 2/3 for 2 green, blue. Needs some more Simic up in here. Whenever you cast your first spell each turn, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a non-land card with converted mana cost less than that spell's, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. So you cast a big spell to start with, you look at whatever it is. If it's a non-land card, bang, you can cast it. So if it's a big creature, for instance. If you don't cast the reveal card, put it into your hand. So if it's a even bigger card than the one you cast, you just get it into your hand. Card draw, or creatures on the battlefield, or spells being cast. I think that's a pretty cool card, especially if it's potentially your commander. Lifecrafter's Bestiary, an artifact, and I'm always interested in artifacts. An artifact for 3. At the beginning of your upkeep, scry 1. Nice. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you can pay green. If you do, draw a card. So you pay a creature spell for 1, you pay green, you draw a card. So it's got scry, so you know what you're getting. obviously for your card draw, and then you get this other card potentially later on. For 3, it's an artifact. Is it going to see some play? I'm sure there's ways of using it, but pretty good towards the end if you've got loads of mana in green when you've ramped and you're casting creatures and you need card draw. I think that could be a really good little get out of jail card. Not great card quality here, but some of these can come from different places. So Charge of the Forever Beast. 2 green for a sorcery. You can see there it's been translated. Thank you, MTG Goldfish. As an additional cost to cast this spell, reveal a creature card from your hand. Charge of the Forever Beast deals damage to target creature or planeswalker equal to the revealed card's power. So you've got a big spell in your hand, you've got a big creature in your hand. You whack this down and it does who knows how many, 11, 13, some crazy damage. Flexible, not sure it necessarily blows me away. And this is a normal card, this isn't part of Commander, you can see the symbol has changed. We're back onto normal cards now. Crystalline Giant. I haven't seen this actual card because it was in, I think it was Japanese or something similar. Artifact Creature Giant, a 3/3 for 3. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose a kind of counter at random that Crystalline Giant doesn't have on it from amongst Flying, First Strike, Death Touch, Hexproof, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Trample, Vigilance, and +1/+1. Put a counter of that kind on Crystalline Giant. So you're rolling a dice, you're flipping a coin, you're pulling cards at random, you're doing something to randomly choose one of these counters. And yeah, it's just every turn it attacks, or every turn on your combat, it gets some extra thing. That's pretty cool. And it's a giant for giant synergy. Stormwild Capridor is a 1/3 for 2 white bird goat. Because, yeah, bird goats. It's flying. If non-combat damage will be dealt to Stormwild Capridor, prevent that damage. Put a 1/1 counter on Stormwild Capridor for each 1 damage prevented this way. So, what I think's interesting, if non-combat damage will be dealt to it, prevent the damage. So it doesn't say if your opponent does that. Put a 1/1 counter on it for each damage prevented this way. So you cast like a, I don't know, a lava coil on it. It's got 4 1/1s on it. I don't know how many of the spells say target opponent's creature, but if you can target your own creature with non-combat damage, you could buff this to the sky, and you could do it at instant speed. Just saying, this card could be significant. A flyer that's 1/3 that you zap, make it huge, it goes through. There's potential. It's expensive at 3 mana, but hey, who knows? Footfall Crater for 1 red, an enchantment aura, enchant land. Enchanted land has tap, target creature gains haste and trample at an end of turn, and it has cycling for 1. Cycling for 1, there are some definite cycling synergies out there, and you're giving trample and haste. Trample useful, haste potentially very useful in red, and just for 1, which I think is pretty good. Migration Path. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. So 3 and a green. Search your library for 2 basic lands, put them both onto the battlefield tapped. I mean, that could be a turn 3, maybe even obviously a turn 4, but probably a turn 3 play. And it's got cycling for 2 if you need to. But turn 3, you play a land, and then you do this. So you've got 6 potentially more lands out. That's criminal. Big card. Crop Rotation. I'd like to see the utility of this. This is back to Commander, but it's shaken up there. 1 green for an instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a land, search your library for a land card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. So you tap a green, you sacrifice a green to pay for this, and then you go and get yourself a blue or a red or a white or a black or for a land card. Shuffle your library for a land card. Search your library, sorry. Not a basic land. You're going to sacrifice a green, go and get yourself a green red, get yourself a green blue, get yourself a crazy crazy other land you need. Yep, instant speed. That's a good card. Riel the Everwise. 1 blue-red. Legendary creature, human wizard. 0/3. Riel the Everwise gets +1/0 for each instant or sorcery, and sorcery card in your graveyard. Whenever you discard one or more cards for the first time each turn, draw that many cards. So there's quite a few discard card things out there. And I believe cycling. That is a potentially painful combination. And it's getting plus. I mean, that is. I like it. I like it. Aggressive. Pouncing Shore Shark. It's a 4/3 for 4 and 1 blue. Mutate 3 and a blue for a shark beast. A flash shark. Yes, a flash shark. I'm loving the sharks in this. They're dead funny. I love it. Whenever this creature mutates, you may return target creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand. For flash. I just love it. Instant. There it is. It's a 4/3. You can mutate it for 4. Oh, silly cards. And then more sharks. Shark Typhoon for 5 and a blue. It's an enchantment, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create an XX blue shark creature token with flying, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. Yes, that needs to sit in every blue deck in the world. Cycling X1 blue. When you cycle Shark Typhoon, create an XX blue shark creature token with flying. So what we're saying here is for 3 mana, you're getting yourself a 1/1. For 4 mana, you get yourself a 2/2. 5 mana, you get yourself a 3/3, and you're drawing a card off it. I just feel like that is a fun thing. For 6 mana, you're whacking it down. You're getting sharks like there's no tomorrow. And it's flying sharks. Why is it a flying shark? Yes, I love Sharknado. I feel like this is what that's about. Keep Safe. Another translation. 1 and a blue for instant. Counter target spell that targets a permanent you control. Discard a card. Sorry, just draw a card. Discard a card. Draw a card. So this, instant speed for 2 mana. You're countering a spell that targets a permanent, and then you're drawing a card. Powerful. Like it. Monstrous Steps for 4 and a green. Sorcery. Target creature gets +7/+7 until end of turn. Up to 1 other target creature must block if it must block it this turn if able. So you're boosting up a card. You're making it has to be blocked. So they're going to have to just get rid of a card. And if it's already got trample, it doesn't matter potentially. Or you can just cycle it for 2. Some good cards here, guys. Mysterious Egg. A 1 mana creature egg. Expected this to be an artifact, but it's just a creature egg. This is the egg that Marrow was talking about. Whenever this creature mutates, put a 1/1 counter on it. So you're just going to mutate this egg. You can't mutate this egg onto something, but you can mutate underneath it, I guess. An interesting card. Who knows where it will go? I know this is terrible. I think this is the last card. I don't know where this is from, but I managed to find it. Zakara, the Exemplary, for 1 black, green, blue, 2/3, legendary creature Nightmare Hydra with Death Touch. Tap to add 2 mana of any 1 colour. Whenever you cast a spell with X in its mana cost, create a 0/0 green Hydra creature token, then put X +1/+1 counters on it. So this is your commander, sits there, death touching stuff, tapping for 2 mana, and whenever you play X cards, you're gaining Hydras. There's a lot to go on that card. I like it. I've got a lot of time for some of these cards, honestly. I know I say I'm liking a lot of them, but I really am. I believe that's us. That is us done for today. I know some of these were yesterday's cards, and I'm just getting around to them now. There are going to be more cards released today, no doubt. But I needed to get this video out and just start to talk about some of these cards because there are so many, and I'm conscious that's 20 minutes already. Tell me what you think, guys. How are we doing with these cards? What are we excited for? What synergies are we going to see? I mean, I can't wait to see the full deck releases, deck reveals, which I'm sure will be out soon, for the crazy Commander decks. But honestly, some fantastic cards here. Dead excited. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate it. There'll be more as there are more spoilers. Probably another video tomorrow. Yet again, if you want any of these cards, you can pre-order all of the Commander 2020 decks, any Ikoria product from doublesleeve.co.uk if you're in the UK. And more importantly, stay safe, everyone, and we'll see you guys in the next one.